Morning, people. Rishi Sunak just reminded us all that Brexit was always just a way to use nationalism to manipulate people. This week, Rishi Sunak cancelled a meeting last minute with the Greek Prime Minister because the Greek Prime Minister mentioned that he planned to discuss the marbles that we stole from Greece in the 19th century. Often referred to as the Elgin marbles, but that feels weird because that's just the name of the guy who stole them. But here's what Rishi Sunak had to say for himself.
Of course, we're always happy to discuss important topics of substance with our allies, like tackling illegal migration or indeed strengthening our security. But when it was clear that the purpose of a meeting was not to discuss substantive issues for the future, but rather to grandstand and relitigate issues of the past, it wasn't appropriate.
And so Keir Starmer absolutely embarrassed him with this response.
I discussed with the Greek Prime Minister the economy, security, immigration. I also told him we wouldn't change the law regarding the marbles. It's not that difficult, Prime Minister.
Now, while both of them were wrong for thinking that the UK has the right to keep artifacts of Greek heritage that don't belong to us, he does make a valid point. The Greek Prime Minister mentioning the marbles wouldn't have prevented them from talking about other stuff. Cancelling the meeting was just petty outrage. And so Sunak responds,
"No one will be surprised that he's backing an EU country over Britain. Just this last week he was asked, which song best sums up the Labour Party. What did he come up with? Well, Mr. Speaker, he showed his true colours and chose Ode to Joy, literally the anthem of the European Union. And he will back Brussels over Britain every single time."
So Rishi Sunak's reason for not meeting the Prime Minister of Greece was to stick it to the EU. And his basis for that logic was Keir Starmer's classical song choices. You see, Brexiteers have been arguing for a long time that they're not nationalists, that they love European countries, they just hate the EU. And yet here Rishi Sunak is defending the theft of the cultural heritage of a European country based on its membership of the EU. Because those marbles are a symbol of our colonial history that we simply stole from other countries across the world. And a huge part of the Tory culture war is that whole nationalist, you must never question the empire thing. And so he thought he could stick it to Greece and then point to Brexit to score points. And Keir Starmer calls him out for that.
Let me get this straight. The Prime Minister is now saying that meeting the Prime Minister of Greece is somehow supporting the EU instead of discussing serious issues. He's just got dug further into that hole that he's made for himself.
And again, both of them are wrong because the underlying assumption of what both of them are saying is that connection to the EU is a bad thing, even though Brexit is taking £1,000 from every household in the country during a cost of living crisis. But as Keir Starmer correctly points out, Rishi Sunak's "we steal marbles because Brexit means Brexit" line is pathetic. I'm Femi, this has been F Politics, so politics doesn't F you. Have a great week.